There is a kind of hunger that food does not address. A restlessness that achievement does not resolve. A sense of inadequacy that approval does not fill. An emptiness that persists through accumulation, more experience, more success, more connection, and that generates a specific kind of confusion because by every external measure, the conditions for satisfaction are present. This is not depression, although it can look like it. It is not ingratitude, although it sometimes gets labeled that way. It is a spiritual phenomenon, and its persistence across all categories of people, religious and secular, successful and struggling, young and old, suggests it is pointing to something real about the structure of human experience. Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor who developed logotherapy, described what he called the existential vacuum, the widespread experience of a sense of meaninglessness that, he argued, was the primary psychological challenge of the modern era. Unlike the neurotic conflicts that Freud addressed, the existential vacuum is not primarily the result of childhood wounds or suppressed desires. It is the result of a life that has been organized around pleasure, comfort, or achievement without asking the prior question, what is it for? The experience of emptiness, in this framing, is not pathology. It is the soul's way of indicating that it is not being engaged at the level it requires. The Lubavitcher Rebbe spent decades addressing exactly this experience, often with people who were secular, non-observant, skeptical of religious frameworks, and he consistently pointed to the same place. He taught that the human being has a dimension that cannot be satisfied by physical or even intellectual experience alone. The Tanya, the foundational text of Chabad philosophy that the Rebbe taught from continuously, describes the human soul as literally divine in its essential nature, a spark of the infinite within the finite. This is not metaphor, in the Rebbe's teaching. It is a precise description of the structure of the self. And it implies something specific about the kind of engagement that can produce satisfaction. The soul seeks encounter with what is infinite, with what is meaningful beyond the self, with what is larger than any single life. This does not require religious practice in the conventional sense. The Rebbe spoke to people across every background. What he pointed to was the function, not the form, the experience of contributing something that matters beyond yourself. Of connecting to something larger than your own story. Of living in a way that is in alignment with what you actually value at the deepest level. Research on what psychologists call eudaimonia, the experience of meaning rather than pleasure, consistently shows that it is the primary predictor of sustained well-being. Not happiness in the hedonic sense, the experience of positive emotion, but meaning, the sense that what you are doing matters, that you are part of something larger than yourself, that your existence has a point. The emptiness you feel, if you feel it, is not a malfunction. It is a signal. It is the soul telling you that the life you are living has not yet included the dimension it came here for. The question it is asking is not, why am I not happier? It is, what am I actually here for? And what would it look like to orient my life around that answer rather than around the things I was told would make me happy? That is not a small question. It does not have a quick answer. But it is the right question. And the soul that is asking it is already, in some sense, on the path toward answering it.